Brother Charles, where are you from?
So I'm from Lancaster, Ohio, a small town near Columbus.
Okay.
My family's now in Cincinnati. I first met the Dominicans in Columbus. Brother Humbert mentioned our parish in Columbus, St. Patrick's. Was very impressed with the preaching and the liturgy. But at that time, I really had no inkling of vocation. I was always intellectually committed to the faith.
Were you working at that time? You were out of
no,
college?
So this was actually in high school when I first met the Dominicans, and then went to college, studied philosophy and Latin, and didn't quite know what to do with that when I graduated.
Would you like fries with that?
So I sort of went out on a limb and volunteered for a year in New York City with the Brothers of the Sacred Heart, and lived in community with them, taught in one of their schools, and to my surprise, just really liked it. You know, living in community with these brothers, praying every day, really was fulfilling, and you know, so I began to live my faith more seriously, went back to confession, things like this. And the Dominicans were kind of a natural choice for me because I had studied a little St. Thomas in college, and the intellectual focus, my experience at St. Patrick's, and so that was that. I think one of the things that really drew me to the Dominicans was, you know, St. Thomas says, grace perfects nature. And I really saw that in the friars that I met, that their faith really enhanced their humanity. And they could really confidently affirm everything that's naturally true and good and beautiful. So, yeah.
That's a great point. And you were the editor of the Dominican blog for a while.
That's right, yeah.
And you saw that in writing, right? Bringing a beautiful writing and a presentation on the blog, a little bit different maybe than other blogging styles.
Yeah. So just a little bit of history. The blog goes all the way back to, the Dominicana Journal goes all the way back to 1916. And yeah, not the blog. And
Al Gore hadn't invented the internet yet.
Yeah.
16. That came in the 1920s, I think. Yeah.
And it stopped in 1968, and then a few years ago, a couple student brothers said, "Why don't we start this up again, this journal? Because we have a lot of brothers again, we can do this." And along with that went this blog idea. And you know, with our blog, we really try to. I think our blog is a little more. It's not quite as newsy as most blogs are.
Right.
It's a little more theological, contemplative. So we try to maybe take people to a more transcendent level.
Contemplative would mean there, like you're observing and reflecting on things of the day, and
yeah, sure. So taking the truths of the faith and really meditating on them, drawing out the implications, making connections. It's more of a reflection. You know.
And I think those two entities you just mentioned, I think capture something about what I hear from the Dominicans. Like, you know, you revived this journal, and it was revived in 1968. You said, or no?
In 2011.
It was revived, but it went out of business in 68.
That's correct. Yeah.
And so, I mean, the Dominicans have this great momentum of intellectual thought and structures in place, and it's like the next generation Dominicans here are reviving some of those things and adding, you know, the blog and film. We've had some of the Dominicans from NYU Film School on and stuff, so I think that's a great story.